Ever feel a chill down your spine, even on a sweltering Manila afternoon? Or catch a flicker of movement just at the edge of your vision, only for it to vanish when you look directly? Most people walk past these places every single day, completely unaware of the chilling secrets they hold beneath their bustling facades. But if you listen closely, past the symphony of jeepney horns, the enthusiastic barkers, and the constant hum of city static, some of Manila's most ordinary corners will start to whisper. They'll tell you stories of the spirits that never truly left, of echoes from a past too painful to forget, and of encounters that make even the most hardened city dweller question what's real. Get ready, because we're about to uncover Manila's most surprising and sometimes terrifying ghost stories. By daylight, Fort Santiago looks like every history textbook exploded into one magnificent cobblestone complex. Ancient cannons standing sentinel, the proud Rizal statue, and throngs of excited school kids on field trips. It's a national shrine, a testament to Philippine resilience. But after dusk, when the gates close and the crowds thin, the guard at the gate often logs 3 things that you'll never find in any tourism brochure. First, there's the distinct, unsettling smell of rusted chains, even though there are none to be found. Then, a sudden, inexplicable drop in temperature beside the dungeon well, like an unseen door to an icebox just opened. And finally, the faint, rhythmic clip-clop of boots that seems to follow you, only to stop dead right behind you, leaving an unnerving silence in its wake. Back in 1896, the Spanish locked hundreds of Filipinos in those dark, suffocating dungeons. History tells us the Pasig River would rise, the cells would flood, and prisoners often drowned standing up because there wasn't even room to fall or sit. Night shift janitors, bless their brave souls, swear the water still whispers tulog na, sleep now, in sync with the gentle lapping of Manila Bay waves, a ghostly lullaby to the long departed. One curator I spoke to, a woman with a no-nonsense demeanor during the day, absolutely refuses to walk the western rampart after 8 p.m. She once saw a man in a black coat tip his hat to her, a gesture of old-world politeness, then simply vanish into the exact spot where our national hero, Jose Rizal, took his final steps before his execution. She didn't wait for an encore, didn't pause to rationalize. She ran, her keys jangling like a chorus of extra ghosts trailing behind her. If you ever visit, try counting the iron lamps along the ramparts. Security personnel have a running joke, or maybe it's not a joke at all, that the count changes when no one's looking. Spooky, right? Paco Park. Paco Park. It's a popular spot. Couples go there for romantic selfies and maybe a cheap tuna sandwich from a nearby vendor. They're usually too busy gazing into each other's eyes to notice that the circular wall enclosing the park is actually shaped like a skull when viewed from the old fountain. It's a subtle detail, a macabre hint at its true history. During the devastating 1820 cholera outbreak, Spanish friars used this place as a mass burial ground. They threw bodies into layered niches, and when space inevitably ran out, they stacked them vertically like forgotten books no one ever planned to reopen. Security guard Romy, a man who's seen 10 years of sunrises and sunsets in Paco Park, keeps a meticulous, almost obsessive notebook of nightly occurrences. His entries include sightings of a bride in delicate 1800s lace, perpetually strolling the inner walkway, a child kicking a wooden ball that somehow never lands, and organ music drifting through the air even when the Manila Cathedral Choir is definitely off-season. Romy's previous patrol partner, a tough guy by all accounts, actually quit after a terrifying encounter. A lady in white, her face obscured by shadows, asked him for a light for her cigarette. When he turned to oblige, She simply disappeared, leaving behind only the cloying scent of sampagita and formaldehyde. Can you imagine? If you're feeling brave, walk the inner path at 11 p.m. and you might see the faint glow sticks from occasional ghost tours. They're not just for ambience, trust me. They mark the exact spots where people have reportedly felt unseen fingernail trace their forearms. Here's a pro tip. If you hear a wooden ball roll past you, do not pick it up. The last guy who did woke up with a fever that lasted precisely 9 Tuesdays. The exact number of unidentified cholera victims buried directly beneath that gazebo. Coincidence? I highly doubt it. Most employees at the Philippine National Bank building on Roxas Boulevard think the elevator skips the 5th floor because of routine maintenance. It's a convenient, seemingly logical explanation. But the real maintenance happened back in 1983 after the tragic Regent Hotel fire. Rescuers, overwhelmed by the sheer number of casualties, used the then empty 5th floor of the PNB building as a makeshift morgue. It was a somber, temporary resting place for too many souls. In 1991, the bank underwent a massive renovation, painting everything eggshell white, hoping to literally whitewash the past. But the elevator buttons, it seems, disagreed. Guards started hearing the unmistakable squeak of gurneys being wheeled down the hall at 3 a.m. Fluorescent bulbs would pop in sequence, one after another, like cheap horror movie jump scares. One accountant, working late one night, decided to press 5 on the elevator just to test. The doors opened onto a corridor that still, after all those years, smelled distinctly of burnt hair and lingering ash. She frantically pressed the closed door button 12 times before it finally obeyed, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. By 2010, the HR department had logged over 30 resignations, all citing vague personal reasons. Management, clearly at their wits' end, eventually brought in an exorcist who blessed the stairwells and every corner of the building. And what was their ultimate solution? They removed the number 5 entirely from the elevator panel. If you watch closely, it jumps directly from 4 to 6. Employees joke it's good, a way to skip bad luck. But the joke wears thin, and the laughter dies when the elevator occasionally stops between floors, and the intercom crackles with a disembodied voice, chillingly asking for a body bag. Disembodied intercom voice. Body bag? Thanks, Hidden behind the relentless Manila City Hall traffic and a bustling row of ukay-ukay stalls, a Rocheras Forest Park looks like the city finally exhaled a tiny, verdant rainforest. University students often picnic here between classes, enjoying the shade, completely unaware that the very soil beneath their blankets once absorbed the horrors of the Parian Massacre of 1603. That's when thousands of Chinese residents were brutally slaughtered in one of the darkest chapters of Philippine history. Clairvoyant visitors, those sensitive to the echoes of the past, report vivid, disturbing visions here. Feet sinking into mud that turns crimson, the crackle of burning bazaar stalls, and the inexplicable taste of salt water on their tongues when no sea is anywhere near. Joggers, too, have their own eerie experiences. They complain of sudden, debilitating fatigue at the exact spot where archaeologists in the 1980s uncovered a mass grave. It's as if the energy of the past still drains the living. Park caretaker Mang Danny, a man who has devoted decades to this green sanctuary, waters the mahogany grove at dawn. He's used to seeing shadowy silhouettes waving back at him from the deeper parts of the park. He doesn't question it. Instead, he quietly leaves them offerings of coffee and 2 coins, a respectful trick his Lola, grandmother, taught him long ago. The coins, without fail, are always gone by sunrise, replaced by dew-wet sampaguita petals arranged in the shape of a perfect heart. It's a sweet, almost touching gesture until you realize that sampaguita, the national flower, doesn't actually grow anywhere in the park. Where do they come from? Built way back in 1928, Benitez Hall houses the College of Education at the University of the Philippines, Manila. And allegedly, it also houses a dean who never quite retired even in death. Students pulling all-nighters, fueled by caffeine and desperation, frequently hear the distinct click-clack of heels along the second-floor corridor. When they cautiously check, hoping to find a late-working professor, only dust dances lazily under the flickering yellow bulbs. It's a sound that promises a presence but delivers only emptiness. During the Japanese occupation, the building served a much darker purpose, a supply depot. Rumors whispered through generations of students speak of a comfort woman who tragically leapt from room 228 rather than surrender to her captors. Her name is lost to history, but her schedule, it seems, remains intact. Students and staff report hearing her footsteps at precisely 10 p.m., followed by the heart-wrenching sound of a woman sobbing at 11 p.m. Then a profound, heavy silence descends at midnight, just as the janitor makes his final rounds, almost as if she acknowledges his presence before retreating into the shadows. One brave, or perhaps foolhardy, graduate student tried to film a TikTok dance challenge in the deserted hall one evening. Her video, much to her horror, captured a translucent, ghostly figure clapping offbeat in the background. The clip went viral, racking up an astonishing 1.3 million views before she frantically deleted it. She claimed her phone started heating up, almost burning to the touch, every single time she replayed the footage. She eventually switched universities, seeking a fresh start. But the clapping, she swears, followed her for 3 different condos. Some things, it seems, just stick with you. Escolta Street, oh, Escolta. It was once Manila's undisputed queen, the bustling heart of commerce and high society, long before the sprawling malls dethroned her. The First United building still proudly keeps its gorgeous Art Deco face, a relic of a glamorous past. But the grand stairwell at the rear of the building hides a more tragic secret: the spectral presence of a lady in a black 1930s dress. Guards believe she was an actress, perhaps on her way to a glamorous film premiere party, who caught her heel, tumbled down the ornate steps, and tragically broke her neck. Night shift staff regularly hear the distinctive sound of her heels first, a rhythmic talk ascending or descending, then a sudden jarring thud, followed by an unnerving silence. The elevator, it said, simply won't open on that floor when she's near, almost as if respecting her presence. And sometimes the lights flicker in an erratic Morse code pattern that no living soul remembers how to decipher. It's a ghostly message from a bygone era. Across the street, the magnificent Metropolitan Theater, a true architectural gem, hosts its own phantom rehearsals. Staff and visitors have reported hearing a tenor warming up, his voice echoing through empty halls, or a single piano chord hanging in the humid air, lingering long after any living musician has left. Stagehands, out of habit, or perhaps respect, often leave out an extra folding chair. If no one sits in it, the show, as they say, goes on. But if someone does sit in it, the chair remains visibly empty. Yet the temperature in that immediate vicinity drops 10 degrees, a noticeable, bone-chilling cold. Critics might call it immersive art. Us locals, we just call it free aircon. So the next time you stride through Fort Santiago, perhaps catching a breathtaking sunset, or you're enjoying a peaceful picnic at Paco Park, or even just riding another elevator on Roxas Boulevard, remember this: Manila's history isn't just written in dusty textbooks. It's whispered in shadowy hallways, tapped on unsuspecting shoulders, and sometimes, incredibly, even captured in accidentally deleted TikToks. These aren't just old wives' tales. They're living, breathing legends woven into the very fabric of our city. Do these spine-tingling stories make you want to explore these hidden corners, to seek out the unexplained? Or do they make you want to sprint the other way, perhaps opting for a cozy night in? Tell me in the comments below which spot you'd dare to visit at midnight, or better yet, share a chilling ghost story of your own from this incredible haunted city. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so you won't miss when we dive deep into the ancient cemeteries that shopping malls conveniently forgot to tell you they're built on. Stay safe out there, keep your windows closed, and if the elevator skips your floor, maybe, just maybe, take the stairs. You never know who or what might be waiting.